One Zambia, one nation. Hello and welcome to the news. To present, my name is Henry Himonde. The top stories in our news. COMESA member states challenged to enhance regional trade. Delegates flock in ahead of 22nd COMESA summit. Free education policy increases pupil enrollment. And in health news, USAID supplies medical kits to health facilities. And now the news in detail. Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry Chipoka Mlenga has challenged the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, member states to work together towards enhancing regional trade. Mr. Mlenga said this when he addressed delegates at the 16th COMESA Business Forum. The minister has also invited delegates from across the continent to consider investing in Zambia beyond the event. Here are the details.
The 16th High-Level Business Forum for the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, has been successfully held in Lusaka ahead of the 22nd COMESA Heads of State Summit. Zambia's Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Chipoka Mlenga, joined others in challenging COMESA member states to foster cooperation in fighting challenges that affect the region.
If we are to do business as COMESA, with growth records in business transactions, Africa must be peaceful.
And African Continental Free Trade Area Secretary General, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, explained the existing correlation between the two regional trade bodies.
Members of COMESA, all except two members of COMESA, have ratified the agreement establishing the AFCFTA, positioning COMESA as the strongest pillar of AFCFTA implementation.
Despite the economic inertia experienced in 2022 in the region, COMESA Secretary General has assured delegates of an increased fiscal economic activity, spurring trade among and beyond COMESA member states.
The value of intra-COMESA total exports increased by 28% from $10 billion in 2020 to $13 billion in 2021.
The theme for the 16th High-Level COMESA Business Forum is economic integration with thriving COMESA anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Lou Majila, reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
And various stakeholders are happy with government's decision to host the 22nd COMESA Summit, saying it will boost trade among the 21 member states. Zambia Chamber of Commerce Chief Executive Officer Elvin Nasilele says the summit will increase intra-trade and foster economic development in the region. He was speaking on the margins of the COMESA Committee of Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting. Sande Bwalia now reports.
As the countries in the COMESA region strive to boost trade and integration, the COMESA Competition Commission is calling on the business executives to adhere to the set-down regulations. COMESA Competition Commission Chief Executive Officer Willard Mwemba says countries in the region should not abrogate set rules but safeguard the interests of consumers. He was speaking on the sidelines of the 16th COMESA Business Forum, which precedes the Heads of State Summit tomorrow.
The role of the COMESA Competition Commission to this whole COMESA regional integration agenda is very important. And why am I saying it is very important? Our mandate includes the promotion and encouraging of competition by preventing restrictive business practices or bad business methods that drive out other business players in the market that result in high prices for the consumers. Those are the things that we guard against. Those are the things that we prohibit so that there is free movement of goods and services between the borders of COMESA member states.
And COMESA Federation of Women in Business Program Manager Chikakura Miti said women must be supported to participate in cross-border trade.
Basically, we are an institution that is supporting the participation of women in regional integration, because you can't talk about regional integration without talking about the roles that women especially in entrepreneurship, are playing. Of course, we have statistics which are indicating that 70% of the cross-border traders in the COMESA region are women. And that's where we come in to make sure that instruments are put in place that enables them to participate effectively in regional integration.
And chairperson of the business consortium shared his views on the importance of the COMESA Business Forum.
We must reaffirm our commitment to want to work together. Now, it's good to say want to work together, but we must be seen to put in place mechanisms and measures which will ensure that we're able to work together. For instance, clearly, most of Africa is open for business. But that's one thing. We are open for business, but we must be seen to be putting measures in place which ensure that business does flourish.
For Zanis in Lusaka, I am Sunday Warrior.
Still on COMESA, as countries in the COMESA region strive to boost trade and integration, the COMESA Competition Commission is calling on the business executives to adhere to the set-down regulations. COMESA Competition Commission Chief Executive Officer Willard Mwemba says countries in the region should not abrogate set rules but safeguard the interest of the consumers. He was speaking on the sidelines of the 16th COMESA Business Forum, which precedes the Heads of State Summit tomorrow. We now take our first break, and when we come back, delegates begin to arrive ahead of the 22nd COMESA Summit. Stay tuned.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar. The government of Zambia and the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, will this June host the 22nd Summit of COMESA Heads of State and Government at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, Lusaka. The summit will take place on Thursday, the 8th of June 2023. The COMESA Summit will be preceded by the 18th meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs on Tuesday, 6th June, and the COMESA Business Forum on Wednesday, 7th of June 2023. The theme of the summit is Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Delegates from the 21 COMESA member states and beyond are expected to attend the COMESA Summit in Lusaka. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Media and COMESA.
Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale
on Thursday at 18:30 hours
on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds.
Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
The news continues. Seychelles Vice President Ahmed Afif and his Ugandan counterpart Jessica Alupo, together with Somali Deputy Prime Minister Salah Ahmad Jama, have arrived in the country for tomorrow's Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Heads of State and Government Summit in Lusaka. The 22nd COMESA Heads of State and Government Summit is being held under the theme Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. The three leaders arrived at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in Lusaka this afternoon. The Seychelles Vice President arrived at 15 hours aboard a South African Airways flight and was received by Minister of Energy Peter Kapala. The Ugandan Vice President touched down at 15:45 aboard an Ethiopian Airlines plane and was received by Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development Elias Mwanga. The Somali Deputy Prime Minister was received by Permanent Secretary for Special Duties at Cabinet Office Chembo Mbula. Mr. Jama also arrived aboard an Ethiopian airplane at about 16:20 hours. The three leaders all inspected a half guard of honor upon arrival. The news continues. Minister of Transport and Logistics Frank Tayali says government has prioritized the rehabilitation and development of airports, including strategic and provincial aerodromes for the aviation subsector to grow. Mr. Tayali says that the upgrade will include expansion of passenger terminals, fuel farms and fencing for all provincial airports, and cargo handling facilities at all airports. He notes that the facilities are meant to bring down the cost of aviation as well as encourage high-value exports from provinces to be bulked in Lusaka, Ondola for onward transportation outside the country. Speaking at the 2023 Aviation Stakeholders Forum in Lusaka, Mr. Tayali has explained that government is acting on its intention to make Lusaka a regional aviation and logistics hub. And Zambia Airports Corporation Limited Board Chairperson Zevyanji Sinkala has acknowledged the individual strides being made by stakeholders to improve the industry. Mr. Sinkala notes that the sector, being a facilitator for many other industries, including commerce and trades, and synergies among players, is critical and will positively contribute to national economic development in line with government's 8th National Development Plan.
The upgrading plan for provincial airports infrastructure will see a phased plan of infrastructure upgrade at several facilities over the remaining period of the next 3 years. The new Dawn government is acting on its intention of making Zambia a regional aviation and logistics hub. One of the major objectives is to reduce the cost of aviation fuel. Therefore, my ministry has requested the World Bank and the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, to assist Zambia to produce aviation fuel through the Sustainable Aviation Fuel SAF project. We recently witnessed the relaunch of Turkish Airlines into Lusaka, the reintroduction of ProFlight Zambia operating into Durban, and the newly launched Zambia Airways route into Harare and Johannesburg. We stand ready to support the industry in ensuring that it recovers fully.
As we all know, the aviation industry serves as a catalyst to numerous other sectors such as commerce, trade, tourism, and agriculture, which we have identified as pivotal drivers of growth. In this context, Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the harmonization of efforts among all industry players is paramount.
In terms of average on-time performance, we saw ourselves against an average target of 93, performing at 92% in 2021 and 96% in 2022.
And some pupils at Chifumo Primary School in Luingu District have abandoned school in preference for sand mining. The male pupils from grade 5 to 7 are absconding from school to go and quarry sand for sale in order to earn a living. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu has since implored the community in the area to guard against the vice. Here now is the rest of the story.
Increasing access to quality education and providing decent learning environment for pupils is among the priorities of the government. In fulfilling this goal, government, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, has constructed a 1x2 classroom block at Chifumo Primary School in Luingu District of Northern Province. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu officiated at the handover ceremony.
Grade 5, abana abalumendo tamuli. Grade 6, tamuli. Grade 7, tamuli. Ingawa kesa asunga chino chialo ni bani. nga twabula bonse abantu otwala kukwimba omuchanga uli omuchanga baleyimba ulya bushoka basungu okuyo kutali isukulu lika basungu okuyo kutali abana so bamwine mishi bonse nami pusha mkwai ukutila mutwafweko twapapata abana belaleka okulaleka amasukulu yo.
Parents have expressed happiness with this gesture.
Nwenchende ino kuri ubuya ntanshi ebo kuri ifo tuleta shobuteko ubaba akainde ichirema ukushiringisha okutira nabatusakamana pantu ino nchende ifi fyatampa okuchitika ifi fire chitika elo fyatendekerapo okushiringisha okweba ati nchende yesu yari apantanshi ifi fine mweba fyashinga mwamufwa twalirana kuri fimbi mufuire okutwafwa.
The contractor is grateful to government for considering a local firm in the awarding of the project.
We began construction of this in 2022, and we are proud to have completed it on time. This project has empowered a lot of people in this community.
Taonga Nkoma reporting for Zanis in Luwengo District, Northern Province.
In Lusaka Province, the National Pension Scheme Authority, NAPSA, in partnership with the Lions Club of Nkwazi, has donated 22 wheelchairs to St. Teresa Special Needs School in Lusaka and another 21 wheelchairs to Cheshire Homes Society of Zambia. NAPSA Director for Internal Audit, Owen Chimbinde, says the support is meant to ease mobility for the children with special needs at the two facilities. Muna Mbonge accompanied the team and now reports.
Being vulnerable is defined as in need of special care, support or protection because of age, disability, risk of abuse or neglect. This is why National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA, in partnership with Lions Club of Nkwazi, have donated 22 wheelchairs worth 40,000 kwacha to St. Teresa Special Needs School in Lusaka, and another 21 wheelchairs of the same value to Cheshire Home Society of Zambia.
I'm therefore delighted and honored to hand over a total of 22 wheelchairs to St. Teresa Special Needs School of Special Needs on behalf of the National Pension Scheme Authority. So these wheelchairs were procured at a total cost of 40,000 kwacha. We trust that the wheelchairs will ease the mobility of the children and assist in their educational endeavors. I would like to thank the Lions Club of Nkwazi once again for partnering with the National Pension Scheme Authority and for identifying this school in particular.
Lions Club of Nkwazi President explains how the institutions were identified.
We then try to look for partners to work with, because the intention isn't for Lions on their own to dip into their pockets and assist. So we connect the need and where the resources is. This is where you've seen the presence of NAPSA here.
Meanwhile, St. Teresa Parish Priest commended NAPSA and the Lions Club of Nkwazi for the gesture.
Coming in will go a long way to the recipients of the wheelchairs. Being a person with special need or disability is not something that is easy for the families also, because these children that are going to receive the wheelchairs, they are not coming from the rich families. They are coming from the ordinary families who are also struggling to earn a living. So with the children that they have, they need support like this one. So I urge you to continue with the same spirit, that we work together. As a church, we do not segregate.
Cheshire Home Society of Zambia chairperson thanked both NAPSA and the Lions Club.
We really rely on donations and everything, because we have to raise the money. All the money we do to keep the home going, we have to raise it ourselves. So we really appreciate the donation we are getting today. It's really magnificent.
A civilized modern society must care for its most vulnerable people, not only because it's the morally right thing to do, but because of the cost of not doing it. Muna Chwende for Zanis in Lusaka.
We take our second break, and still to come in the news, free education policy increases pupil enrollment. Stay tuned.
The government of Zambia and the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, will this June host the 22nd Summit of COMESA Heads of State and Government at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, Lusaka. The summit will take place on Thursday, the 8th of June 2023. The COMESA Summit will be preceded by the 18th meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs on Tuesday, 6th June, and the COMESA Business Forum on Wednesday, 7th of June 2023. The theme of the summit is Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Delegates from the 21 COMESA member states and beyond are expected to attend the COMESA Summit in Lusaka. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Media and COMESA.
Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale
on Thursday at 18:30 hours
on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds.
Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
Welcome back, and now education news. Siayunka Primary School, a rural school in Sinazongwe district in Southern Province, has recorded the highest enrollments since its inception, with over 1,000 learners following the introduction of the free education policy. School head teacher Matilda Malumo says the learning facility enrolled over 350 grade 1s in 2022, giving an opportunity to most children from surrounding villages to access education. From Southern Province, we move to Eastern Province, where learning at Kasangazi Primary School in Lusangazi district has resumed following a directive from education authorities. The lessons have not been conducted for the past 2 weeks following the disappearance of a 3-year-old boy, Boniface Lungu, an early childhood education pupil who used to reside within the school premises. Lusangazi District Education Board Secretary Wiseman Piri has directed pupils to resume normal lessons as investigations into the missing child are ongoing. Mr. Piri said the idea of not conducting lessons was disadvantageous to pupils at the school, especially those in grades 7 and 9 who would be writing their final exams this year. The school head teacher, Joseph Skazwe, however, said the turnout of pupils at the school is low, adding that out of 756 learners, only about 200 have reported back to school. He described the situation at the school as calm and urged parents to encourage their children to get back to school. Investigations into the missing child have continued. We now cross over to Northern Province, where a civic leader in Senga Hill district has appealed to government to deploy more teachers to Chipanda Primary School in Ipembe Ward. Ipembe Ward Councillor Zebron Sichilima says the school is facing a serious shortage of teachers. He says the facility, which runs from preschool to grade 7, only has one government-deployed teacher who is assisted by 3 volunteers. Mr. Chilima adds that the school, which opened in 2012 as a community school, was only upgraded to a primary school in 2022. He called on education authorities in the district to quickly come to the aid of the learning institution in order to ensure that learners receive quality education. And Senga Hill District Commissioner Justus Skazwe has assured that more teachers will be sent to the school. We now take our final break, and when we return, USAID supplies medical kits to health facilities.
The government of Zambia and the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, will this June host the 22nd Summit of COMESA Heads of State and Government at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, Lusaka. The summit will take place on Thursday, the 8th of June 2023. The COMESA Summit will be preceded by the 18th meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs on Tuesday, 6th June, and the COMESA Business Forum on Wednesday, 7th of June 2023. The theme of the summit is Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Delegates from the 21 COMESA member states and beyond are expected to attend the COMESA Summit in Lusaka. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Media and COMESA. For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
Welcome back. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, in collaboration with the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, has started supplying assorted drugs to health facilities on the Copperbelt province. USAID Zambia Deputy Mission Director Robin Sharma says the project is aimed at ensuring remote areas are equipped with enough medical supplies. Nelly Bota now reports.
The Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, has distributed drugs to some health facilities on the Copperbelt province with the help of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID Zambia. HIV/AIDS, malaria, and family planning commodities are part of the drugs that are being delivered to rural and peri-urban health centers.
Designed a program which is called Last Mile Delivery. That is to make sure U.S. government supplied HIV commodities, malaria commodities, all the medicines and drugs reach out to the health posts and clinics where it is really, really hard to reach. They reach out to the clinics on time, they reach out to the clinics quickly, they're getting into the hands of the consumer quickly, right? Or the people or the patients who are using those drugs quickly. So we're here to look at those activities and then see how it is working.
Kwapia Health Center, Sister in Charge, has expressed happiness on the timely delivery of drugs to the facility.
Community of Twapia, like we have a total population of 26,980. So with this population, at least the clients, even the patients, are grateful when they come. At least they're able to find something. And like before, where they will come, then we send them away to say we don't have anything to give you.
Meanwhile, the USAID Zambia team will also be in Chililabombwe to set a pilot project.
Going out to Chililabombwe to pilot a program, again, together with the private sector, to see how we can design a program that is more effective for service delivery, given that the government has come out with the decentralization program. So we're here to support the government's decentralization program and look at how we can design new projects that actually goes out to the communities and help them right at the local authority.
Earlier, the team called on Copperbelt Province Minister.
We pray that the Chililabombwe project will work, and I'm sure it will.
Nelly Bota reporting for Zanis in Ndola.
Still looking at health, but this time to Eastern Province, where Kamimba Ward Councillor in Lumezi constituency, Blaston Ngoma, says the completion of Chankoma Health Post will be a progressive development. Mr. Ngoma says the current workmanship on the construction project, which received funding from the 2022 Constituency Development Fund, is impressive. He explains that the construction of the health facility will include a staff house, an incinerator, and double VIP toilets. He notes that the project, once complete, will reduce the long distances covered by the community to access health services from neighboring communities. And finally, Chinyingi Mission Hospital Sister in Charge Gertrude Nyirenda has bemoaned the ongoing water crisis at the health facility. Ms. Nyirenda says the water scarcity at the institution has severely impacted on the institution's operations, thereby jeopardizing the health and safety of patients. Ms. Nyirenda has revealed that despite the council providing a pump which was installed, the solution is still not sustainable. She says the hospital is currently relying on water stored in buckets, which is insufficient to meet the hospital demand. The sister in charge emphasized the urgent need for a long-term and sustainable solution to the water crisis. Now, as we end the news, we take another look at the top stories in our news. COMESA member states challenged to enhance regional trade. Delegates flock in ahead of 22nd COMESA summit. Free education policy increases pupil enrollment. And in health news, USAID supplies medical kits to health facilities. Thank you so much for watching the news. On behalf of the entire news production crew, my name is Henry Himonde. Remember to join us tomorrow again at the same time for another edition. For now, it's goodbye.